popcorn. We are two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Media popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Are you ready to sin? Because we're watching Sinners. This is Eddie Collins.
Oh, and boy, am I ready to sin.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That voice is the illustrious Tatiana.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. All right. And we're talking about Ryan Coogler's Sinners that stars Michael B. Jordan in dual roles. Jack O'Connell, Haley Steinfeld, Wami Mozaku.
Oh my gosh.
Jamie Lawson, and Delroy Lindo, amongst many others.
Also, you're forgetting the young guy, Miles, was it Miles Canton?
Miles Cadden. Yes.
Canton, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have a page yet on Wikipedia, you know. Hope that will change after this movie because low key, you know, it's not a spoiler. Sammy is kind of the main character.
Yeah, his character.
You think the twins, you know, Smoke and Stack are going to be, but...
No, well, that is a spoiler because you're going in to see two Michael B. Jordans.
There are plenty of Michael B. Jordans in this movie, Tati. I know you were smiling ear to ear. You're just enjoying the whole goddamn thing. And rightfully so. This movie shot beautifully by Autumn Darrell Akapa. Shot in IMAX, I believe, in 70 millimeter. And so it looks amazing.
It is. And they also had some interesting new technology that they developed for the dual roles that Michael B. Jordan was playing so that is interesting. I was like learning a little more about that today. But yeah, there was so much of this that was, you could tell Ryan Coogler wanted to do something different.
Yes, 100%.
And also just learning that this is a little bit of a love letter to his uncle, who's like really into jazz music. Okay. And so that was like the inspiration. But apparently Ryan Coogler is a big fan of horror. So
yeah, I mean, you could tell. I mean, this is like his Dusk Till Dawn. And
yes, and he said he was really inspired.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that like in a derogatory way or like a negative way or anything like that. I think it's a really that's how I would. If I were to have to pitch this idea, I would have been like, it's Dusk Till Dawn in the Jim Crow South with two twin brothers that are going to be played by Michael B. Jordan. If I'm a movie studio, like, yeah, I'm going to get to that bidding war. You know what I mean? Sure. Like, now this is Ryan Coogler. Like Ryan Coogler wrote the script, and usually he collaborates with some other folks, whether it's for, you know, IP like Black Panther or Creed. So this is the first like kind of solo Ryan Coogler script we've gotten in a while. And, I did really enjoy this movie. Like, I've had some time to sit on it since we saw it. I did really enjoy it. Ryan Coogler is, you know, top 5 best directors of all time for me. And like, folks, we can debate that, but you're going to lose because I got a lot of things and I could filibuster that shit talking about Mr. Coogler.
26 hours. Yeah. Cory Booker ain't got nothing on
exactly. You. But there were some story things, but you know, usually we spoil movies, but I don't want to do that because I want as many people to go see this, have their own experience with Sinners. But there were some story lines and moments where I was like, oh, that's where you went? Like, and I also blame Warner Brothers marketing a little bit.
Yes. I will say that you know me, I love horror, and the idea of a vampire flick in the South was really appealing, especially when we heard about its production and that they were filming in Louisiana. And, you know, it was Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan together. So, and that was all that was really released prior to that. And so the idea of like a black vampire movie was something that I found to be really exciting. And so I would say that a big part, I was enjoying what I was enjoying. And then there's moments where I was like, oh, I wonder what the alternative is. What is the alt shot? Was this a reshoot? Like, what's on the chopping block that makes them put this instead of something else? Because there are moments where you think it's going to go one way and it doesn't. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But there does feel to be like a little disconnect in some moments where like there's no way this movie was going well up until this part. And then like a thing happens and then it kind of like reverts back to what it was doing before. But I will say for something that is Ryan's true like thoughts, IP, and really trying to do something different, right? Because the Marvel stuff is the Marvel stuff. Creed is Creed. There's just so much. Fruitvale Station was somebody's life, and so his vision is something to see everything together. So his writing is one thing, the directing is another, but the vision and how it all came together. Some of these, I mean, it's shot beautifully.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's also haunting because seeing a cotton field in IMAX and people, work in those fields, very jarring. Yeah, but like you're like, man, it's a beautiful shot.
I mean, wardrobe, Ruth Carter killed it. Not that she wouldn't, but still, just
like all the costuming was awesome. Like it's, it made me yearn almost for that kind of the way that like black people used to dress very proud and like look very proper and ready, like to show out all the time. You know what I mean? Like,
well, in those times we had no choice.
Yeah, but they just look good. Like Michael B. Jordan's suits were awesome, and they, like his whole style, like the way like everything was designed was awesome. The sets were great, and then the music was pretty good too. Even though some of the songs went on like they were like real time, like the full song and stuff, but they were really interesting and visually. You got to see Ryan really play with like transitions and melding different images together and playing with like time and space and stuff like that. It was really interesting seeing him do that in this element.
Yeah, of course. And I think one of the things that I've we had to sit on it for a minute and really appreciate it because we get to screen this with a bunch of other critics, which is very different than watching a movie with an audience that paid to see it and wants to be there. And so I think, interestingly, I find it really, it's coming out now right before Easter. I wouldn't have dropped a vampire movie before a religious holiday. You also have Passover and all that stuff. But I also understand, probably given the political climate and how things are going, really doing this push because there's a lot in this that feels, it's a period piece. So there's no way we can't talk about racism or slavery and the effects of that, right? And so having that be a little too close to home, given all the things that have happened in recent events, is kind of like, But I will say, if this were maybe a different time, not given the current political climate, I really think that this would be more fun to experience.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely identify with that. Like it definitely is it's a heavy piece, just because you're seeing, bad things happen to black people, even if they're quote unquote sinning and stuff like that. And the main audience lens into the story is this young man, Sammy. So we're kind of seeing the world through his eyes, and his engagements with, the Michael B. Jordan characters, the Haley Steinfeld character, Delroy Lindo, all these people we meet, and then they get put into this like crazy situation that just happens to involve vampires that may or may not be, white supremacists. I mean, there's some, but like, you learn a little bit more about the main antagonist, which is the one thing I will say that marketing didn't spoil, because that's my biggest gripe, is that the trailers gave away a lot of story. And I'm not going to say, confirm for folks what story was, obvious or wouldn't be revealed, but it made it a bit frustrating because I think that having a little bit more surprise could have made this a really fun experience. But because it was like, well, that was already in the trailer, it's like, well, I hope there's a bigger twist, and kind of set up the wrong expectations for me.
Yeah, I will say, I think you knew going into this, I was disappointed in the marketing, especially given the last trailer that was released, because I was like, oh, I feel like they gave us too much, which I still personally believe they still gave us too much. As someone who enjoys a horror film, something that has a supernatural element, I am pretty standard vampire movie. The fight scenes, though, I was really excited for. And some of them deliver and some of them fall just a little bit short where I feel like they could have done better because it's rated R.
Yeah.
So
And
if
Coogler's
because it's rated R, I'm just like fucking balls to the wall, like more blood, more.
I know. Coogler's had I don't know what it is, but like he's had a hard time topping the casino scene of Black Panther. That fight scene, that's like a great, fight scene.
It could be budget. There's so much, right? When you have the Disney Marvel behind you, right, and it's an action movie, that your action scenes are clearly important. Where this one, we don't know.
The budget was like 90 mil, so he had some money to play with, but like with costuming and everything, Michael B. Jordan's fee probably.
We just said Minecraft had a bigger budget than that, right? Yeah. So, but I will say that the fight scenes that did deliver, you're just like, ooh, yeah, like you do get into it. You have, again, I just think for rated R horror vampire, I want more violence, more blood. I'm that person,
yes,
and I can stomach
crazy.
And I can stomach that.
You can. All right, well, let's rate this thing. And folks, if this is your first time listening to Medium Popcorn, we rate movies on scales of popcorn, small, medium, large, except for the exception of a movie does not deserve a fresh bag of popcorn, though. We put it into the stale popcorn pile where we pile piles and piles of stale popcorn on it. So, Tatiana, we watched Sinners, directed and written by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, and a bunch of other incredibly talented actors and actresses. What say you?
I thought the acting was really well. I will say that I think everybody delivered their parts exactly how it was intended. This is going to get a medium for me. It has the potential to be a large. I do want to see it again in like a darker environment. Like I saw it in like the middle of the day. Kind of takes me out a little bit. But I will say, and you're not going to be happy with this comment, so maybe you should cover your ears. So that line where Cardi B says in her song something about like, if he had a twin, I would let them run a train. That is
what?
I get that line now.
Okay, well, folks, I'm gonna mute that.
I'm not saying I would do it, but I understand the line now.
All right. I mean, Jamie. Jamie
would you too?
No, Jamie Lawson just was looking beautiful in this movie. And she was a little freaky because she had her little sin ways as well.
Oh, wait, this isn't a competition. But
I know.
sure.
I'm just trying to let everybody know I ain't going down without a fight.
No, but it's definitely a medium. I do think it has the potential for a large, and I want to hear what our audience thinks about it. For all the reasons we said, the acting was great, wardrobe is great, like the scene, setting, everything is on par. It's just a little bit of the storyline and editing for me that brought it down a notch.
Okay. I'm actually going to give this a large. I thought I would do a medium too, but actually, like, the longer I've had time to sit on it and think about it, the more I have appreciated it. Like, it is still probably in the bottom half of, like, my favorite Ryan Coogler movies, I would say.
But it is different.
It is very different. It's very different. And it got me, like, I've been actually thinking, since the past week we've seen this movie, where I was like, where did this idea originate from? And maybe, if I get a chance to interview Mr. Coogler, I'll ask him that, because it feels like he could have done this as a Blade movie without the twin aspect, right? But then I can see Marvel being like, but you do Black Panther, we can't have you do.
No, but why not? But why not have his own?
I know, but because Delroy Lindo was supposed to be in Blade. That's all. I'm just like, he's poaching actors that were supposed to be in Blade. He got it out faster than Blade.
Listen, what I will say is that I can totally see it. It is a standalone movie, yes. But if Mr. Coogler decides that he would like to build his own universe from this, there's possibility.
Oh yeah, he gets the rights back in like 20 years, so I could definitely see him doing that, using this IP to expand, and then after a few decades, you get that shit back. Yeah, I would definitely do it. All right, well, that's our review on Sinners, folks. Tatiana, tell the people how they can follow you.
You can follow me at Boricua Collins on Instagram.
All right. You can follow the show at Medium P Podcast on all social media platforms. You can follow me at Frodo_Blackens on Threads and Instagram, FrodoBlackens.com. I got shows coming up on 420 in New York City, and then Drunk Black History Dates in Boston, Detroit, and Brooklyn. Get tickets for those at FrodoBlackens.com or DrunkBlackHistory.com. And then Patreon.com/Medium Popcorn. We have different tiers, $2, $5, $10, $15 packages. All comes with hundreds of hours of bonus content. Please consider signing up at patreon.com/medium popcorn.
Anything else you would like to add?
I think that's it. I think that's it, right?
I think so.
Am I forgetting something? I feel like I'm forgetting something.
I don't know. But
I don't know either. I never know nothing anymore. But I do know Sinners, pretty good. It is just very different than what he's done.
Oh, you still have thoughts?
No, just it is true. It's like it's very different from what he's done, but I appreciate that he's constantly pushing himself. He's clearly, doing some unique stuff, and he's got a great collaboration with Michael B. Jordan. I can't deny that. Like, they make awesome stuff together. Yeah,
I agree. And I think the more I learn about how the movie was made, the bigger appreciation I have for it. And that's something like I can respect the work that goes into this stuff. It clearly wasn't just a money grab. It was a story that had substance to it, meaning, and there was intention behind bringing the story, which is why I think we're being so intentional as to not actually spoil it. But again, I would still love to hear our audience thoughts on it, and then maybe we can expand on this review later.
Yeah, post your comments on our YouTube page, youtube.com/medium popcorn. Push that subscribe button to get alert about all future reviews, mini reviews, and celebrity interviews that we have on the channel. So post in the comments what you thought after you've seen the movie. And go ham. You can spoil the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Y'all can spoil the movie. We're not going to spoil it this week. All right. Talk to y'all soon.
Bye.
Medium popcorn. We are two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me. And Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault.